Ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about the mighty chickpea.
Finally! I can take it from here, Tim.
You're behind the camera, remember?
Of course. I'll just be sitting right here as I was last time.
According to grocery store retail giant Whole Foods, the time has come to think beyond hummus and falafel, and even chickpea pasta. Rich in fiber and plant-based protein, chickpeas are the new cauliflower. Popping up in products like chickpea tofu, chickpea flour, and even chickpea cereal. Chickpeas continue to be the darling of food innovators. Let's take a deep dive into the world of chickpeas. The producers of Kabuli chickpeas harvested a little over 5.3 million acres in 2020, slightly higher than last year. The world produced an estimated 2.1 million metric tons of Kabulis, which is 50,000 metric tons lower than the 2019 crop and a little over 1 million metric tons lower than the peak production year for Kabuli chickpeas in 2018. World ending stocks dropped to 492,000 metric tons at the end of the 2019-20 marketing campaign. Let's take a look at the major exporters of chickpeas around the world. In 2020, Canadian farmers produced 239,000 metric tons of good quality chickpeas. Over 80% of the Canadian production are small-sized chickpeas in the 7 to 8 millimeter range. Stats Canada projected in September that growers were still storing 250,000 metric tons of chickpeas from the 2019 harvest. A number of Canadian chickpea suppliers have taken issue with the Stats Can ending stocks number, arguing that the lower quality chickpeas in 2019 went into the feed channels last year.
Not surprised. I thought their chickpeas all went into the feed channels.
There's Canadians watching. Don't need your commentary. Turkey is a major producer and exporter of Kabuli chickpeas. Growers planted fewer acres and faced drier weather, which dropped chickpea production to roughly 333,000 metric tons in 2020. That's a 34% drop from last year and nearly a 50% drop from the chickpea production in 2018. Mexico grows a high-quality, large white chickpea that competes with the U.S. in quality markets. Low chickpea prices over the past 3 years have dramatically reduced large Kabuli chickpea production in Mexico. Mexican chickpea growers harvested less than 120,000 metric tons in 2020, which was a 162,000 metric ton drop from the 2018 crop. Ending stocks are projected to be 38,000 metric tons going into the 2021 harvest. The chickpea harvest in Argentina runs from November to December. In 2020, Argentine chickpea farmers planted a little over 170,000 acres of mostly 7 to 8 millimeter Kabuli chickpeas. This is a reduction of over 85,000 acres from the 2019 crop. During the growing season, Argentina experienced the worst drought in over 20 years. Some growing regions also experienced frost damage. The 2020 chickpea crop will be lower than 70,000 metric tons, a decline of 15% from last year, and a 74% decline from the 2018 crop. Argentina enters...
It's Argentina.
Yeah, I know, I just misspoke.
Don't cry for me, Argentina. The truth is I never knew your name. Let's take it from the top.
Argentina enters the 2021 marketing year with basically no carryover stocks. Russia has emerged as a significant exporter of small, low-quality 5 to 6 millimeter Kabuli chickpeas in the past 5 years.
5 to 6 millimeter chickpeas? That's tiny. They should stick to vodka.
Trying to read this,
Yes,
Chelsea?
yes, continue.
There is very little domestic demand for chickpeas in Russia, so almost the entire production is exported. Like every chickpea farmer in the world, Russian farmers lowered chickpea planted acreage in response to the low prices. Russian chickpea farmers produced an estimated 275,000 metric tons in 2020, which is 25% lower than last year. There are a number of factors driving chickpea markets in the 2021 marketing campaign. The Indian government maintains a 66% tariff on chickpea imports from all origins except chickpeas from the United States, which have a 77% tariff. India used to be a consistent 15,000 to 25,000 metric ton market for U.S. large chickpeas before the tariffs. In the 2019-20 marketing year, the U.S. shipped 8,000 metric tons of large Kabuli chickpeas to India. Pakistan became the most important U.S. chickpea market in the 2019-20 marketing year. They purchased over 60,000 metric tons, which was a 35,000 metric ton increase from the 2018 campaign. The European Union purchased over 46,000 metric tons of U.S. chickpeas in 2019. Spain, Italy, and Portugal lead the list of EU countries purchasing chickpeas. The U.S. chickpea industry was relieved when the EU decided to leave chickpeas off the counter-tariff list announcement in response to the WTO Airbus ruling in October 2020. Domestic food aid demand for chickpeas increased dramatically over the past 2 years. Canned chickpeas in the Section 32 program have been popular. And for the first time in 2020, we were successful in convincing USDA to purchase 2-pound bags of dry packaged chickpeas under the USDA's Section 32 program. In the 10-year period between 1995 to 2005, chickpea prices ranged between 20 and 30 cents a pound. In 2017, chickpea prices fell off the table. Trade tariffs and oversupply dropped chickpea prices to 15 cents per pound, their lowest in over 20 years. The chickpea market for the past 3 years was like being in a California wildfire with all the oxygen sucked out of the market. But in 2020, chickpea producers the world over dramatically reduced production. Carryover stocks are still high in the US and Canada, but in the rest of the world, stocks are low. 2021 could be the year chickpea prices recover from their long stint on Darth Vader's Death Star.
I have to go to the bathroom.
We only...
I have to go to the bathroom.
Okay, close the door behind you. Chelsea, are you in there? What's going on? Are you crying?
I'm not crying.
It's okay, Chelsea.
I'm smothered in tariffs. Not even Luke Skywalker can help me now.
What do I have to do to get you to come out?
Well, I do have one idea.
No, absolutely.
Well, that wraps up this episode of Chickpea on Chickpea.
It's World Pulses on Pulses.
The 2020-21 marketing year will no doubt take many twists and turns, but all signs point to a recovery in the pulse sector this marketing year.
We live in the internet age where we are all connected and disconnected at the same time. We are bombarded with news of our polarization and separateness. It is easy to lose sight that we are all united in the need to nourish our bodies with good food. Our job is to feed the world, but more importantly, we play a role in bringing people together to share a meal, to love, to laugh, and to celebrate our connection to each other. So make sure to stock your pantries with dry peas, lentils, and chickpeas.